What is up? Back at the Silver and Black Report, and today we are here to post review the Raiders and Broncos. Um, Big win yesterday coming out of Denver. A lot of people didn't have us winning, and that was kind of disappointing, right? But we took it right. We took it. We walked in there and we win 17-16. Um, Overall, we won the game. That's all that matters. But offensively, we were there. We played pretty well. Jimmy G outplays Russell Wilson. Like I expect Jimmy G to come in and play the game the way he was meant to. And the number one thing that's not being talked about enough, the thing I heard the most in this previous offseason was the fact that Jimmy G is just a dink and dunker. And Jimmy G was pushing the goddamn ball down the field. Um, What's up, Richard? What's up, my man? You're back. But like I said, man, coming in and winning this kind of game, this is the type of game, and this is where I really look into watching the Raiders, and what I really think about this game. The defense got stops. It wasn't going. It would not have gotten last year. The defense showed improvement. It got stops that we probably wouldn't have gotten last year. There's things to work on, right? The mistakes, the missed tackles, the bad penalties that you just cannot afford as a defense. With that final drive that the Broncos had before they gave us the ball, getting that type of a stop is bigger than people are here to listen to and hear about it. I think, I truly think, like, you put up the Raiders and Broncos, and I said this entire offseason we was going to beat them week one. And I stood on that. We was going to win. I don't think that's a bad way to start off a year. I think, going into Denver and winning a tough game, it sets your team up for the near future and the games that you're going to have moving forward. The biggest takeaway was Jacoby Myers. He was something else today, which was very nice to see. He came in, played very well. The only thing I really want to see out of the offense moving forward is the run game, as Josh Jacobs had 19 rush attempts for 48 yards. Not good. I knew there was going to be some rust to shake off, so I'm not worried about it. I stated that in my post. If you go to the Silver and Black Report on Instagram, I think I think this is a big win. You go to here. I posted it just a bit ago, and I stated that winning this type of a game, I think again, walking in and winning a game like that's big. But we're gonna go right away to Jimmy G. Like I stated, better game than Russell Wilson. Pushed the ball down the field more. He had one mistake, and I wish he would have thrown it away. But or I wish there was someone that was wide open. Um, like I said, I get it. He had more yards than Russell. He was more. He was more push of. He was pushing the ball down the field a lot more. I liked it. Devontae was, fuck man, he was cooking up on these Broncos, man. Big win right there. I think having at least Jacoby and him come in. I think having Garoppolo made very good decisions. I do wish Renfro would have been more involved. I think that's the only takeaway that I have to talk about the offense. In terms of being a little disappointed, I thought, not even getting a target. My thing is, what's the point in keeping him if you're not even going to have him getting the ball? Like, we're paying him, we're paying him 11 million. So definitely want to see more throws to him, Jimmy. But Jimmy, I mean, make great decisions, and if he can play like that, except play a little more mistake free, we're in a good position to move forward. Josh Jacobs is next topic. I mean, rusty. That's all I gotta say. He was rusty, and I think walking in and seeing him be rusty, it's not a sign to be scared. Garoppolo did something though. I want to state actually one more thing about Garoppolo. He did something that Carr wouldn't have done. He won the game with his legs. As much respect as I have for Carr, the Carr stands they're quiet because Jimmy G just won a game with his fucking legs, and I heard he can't do that. I heard he can't run. He won the game with his legs. But Josh comes away with 23 receiving yards and 48 rushing yards. Not on good efficiency, though. Got to be real. The receiving was okay, but, man, I mean, the rushing attack was dead. And I really hope to see that running attack back by next week. I think having that back by next week against a very good opponent in Buffalo, you need because if this was a late December game, you're having to walk in there with your running game being good. That's how you win. That's how you beat the Buffalo Bills. You keep the ground game going. And they haven't really had a ground game yet, so we got to see what they look like. We're going to watch them tonight. I'm not going to watch them live, but I'll go watch them and see what they like. And, heading into week 2, knowing that we're the only 1-0 team in our division, it's okay. But I'm going one game at a time. If we go out there and we beat the Broncos, there's a lot more to be excited about because that's a good team, regardless of what you think, regardless of the injuries, regardless of how you view the Raiders or the Bills. I don't want to hear excuses when we do win more than these 4 games that most of these people out there are projecting. 4 wins from the motherfucking start. Excuse my language, but it was disrespectful. In what world do we live in to look at the Raiders and say that they got worse? They improved, and that was proven yesterday. On to the receiving core, man. Got to get more than 2 guys involved. Moving forward, I think that's got to be. I think McDaniels has to work with the offense. Graham, I need you to be specialized in the stuff I'm about to talk about. These guys got to separate, and they got to get their units together. Offensively, receiving core, got to have more than 2 guys because 2 guys. I mean, Jacoby Myers went down at the end of the game. I hope to see him back next week. I do believe he'll be back because he did walk off the field on his own power. That was a dirty hit. You cannot convince me otherwise. That was dirty as it fucking gets. The Broncos made multiple dirty hits. Multiple. And I think the fact that the Broncos still had the refs on their side and they still lost, there's not a lot to be excited about in Denver. They legitimately are the worst team in this division. I said that from the start. There's not a lot to be excited about them. Even if they have Jerry Jeudy, Russ didn't even throw for 200. But the crazier thing is, right? We'll get to that actually in a moment. But wide receiver core-wise, got to get more than 2 guys involved. Got to get Renfro going. Got to get Jacoby Myers continuously going. And then Devontae. There are some throws, and I know Jimmy doesn't force it, and this is why I like it, right? He doesn't force every throw. But I think he's got to realize you still got to force that ball. right? At some point, you gotta. And I liked the aggressiveness when he threw to a lot of these guys, pushing the ball down the field. But man, there was a few times that I felt like if he wouldn't have hesitated and he threw it and actually gave, an over the shoulder throw. Now, and Adams had a few created penalties, but the fact is, Josh McDaniels just has to scheme these guys open, and he did that very well yesterday. I will say, I'm not mad with Renfro because I do think Matt Renfro was open quite a bit. He's not fast, but that's not how he works. He works through his route running, and I think the way some of these plays were going, you definitely should have targeted him just to create more mismatches. But Damari Mathis was legitimately the worst defensive player on the field. Was the worst. His opportunities were given, and he got beat pretty bad. I think he was the one that gave up both touchdowns. Scheming Jacoby Myers on him was a very good thing because Jacoby Myers was going to route that dude up regardless of what we thought. O-line, I do want to see a little better, but this is expected from the O-line. It's a young group. Even by next year, you're hoping to see Dalton Wagner back. McClendon Curtis gets 1 year on the practice squad. He might be back next year to be a full-time starter. But these guys, run blocking wise, it was a little disappointing. I would have liked to see Colton Miller, start running motherfuckers over. I would have liked to see this line getting ahead, pushing their D-line back. We do have a top 10 unit in the NFL, as I've said before. I think this is a top 10 unit. But getting right in, I mean, we gotta have a ground game going. And the O line was there for pass protection, but run block, I mean, it was bad. O line wise, I expect to see strides through the year. I think by week 5 or 6, we're going to really see how good this team can do. And we'll see what this team looks like by week 10. But enough for the offensive side of the ball. McDaniels, though, I want to see one thing. I want to see more aggressiveness. Give Zamir White maybe a few more touches, and then we'll go from there. Because I know this isn't going to be how every game's played. I know we're not going to do that every game. We're not going to just give him one touch, but gotta see what he can do because I mean you only gave him I think an outside touch near the goal line, but outside that, man, let's just get to the defensive side of the ball. The defense showed big time strides, I think, in its development. And this is a game that I think a lot of people thought we were losing because the defense was so bad, but my biggest thing was this. It's the yards after catch, man. If we stop if we get the tackling better, if we can do it, if we can improve on the tackling, you might be able to see. I mean, we might have only seen 130 yards out of Russell Wilson yesterday. That's all he did. He only dinked and dunked. He threw down the sideline maybe twice. Both resulted in incompletions. The corners were generally there. Our run defense does need work, especially to the outside runs. Got to contain that. I mean, you got to just get a wall runner and contain it. And we're getting some good touches there on the runs. But if we can stop the run and set up their pass, it's going to be, we're going to look a little better. Graham, I'll give it to you. Week 1 is a win. It's all that matters. But the tackling was pretty poor and the costly mistakes. Luke Masterson, Jacorin Bennett has a little ways to go, but he's going to be good. Beside that, man, Trayvon Merrick had a tough first possession, but He settled down. I think generally he was one of the better players on defense. Generally, um, Hobbs wasn't bad. Peters definitely got to get a little better with the tackling, but outside that, defensively, definitely we're going to see what this defense is about week 2. If we can somehow keep Josh Allen and them contained under 20 points, something's going to be up, but I really hope to see that, but we'll see. I'm not making any predictions yet. I do think Buffalo will win, but we'll see. We have a chance to win, I think. I don't think it's out of the realm because no Von Miller, so we'll see. But let me know your thoughts on the Raider game, and I will be back.